Hi guys, my name is Elise. Welcome back to another week with the Foundry Kids, and welcome to week 5 of our April series called Community Garden. In this series, we have been talking about humility, what it means to have humility, and we've been talking about lots of great examples of when Jesus practiced humility. But today, we are going to be talking about a time when one of his disciples had to practice humility, and I'm really excited to share this story with you. But before we share this story, let's stand up and sing a song.
When I was a young kid, I felt it deep down in my bones. Father, when I met you, I knew you were there in my soul. No, I never needed a reason, just faith like a child to see the divine. With more than my eyes, I found faith, undeniable faith. I found hope, undeniable hope. I found love, unconditional love that won't let me go. So, it's something greater that I can't explain. All creation's pointing to your name. It's been 2,000 years and hearts still change. It's clear to me, you're here with me. God, you are undeniable, 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 indisputable, irrefutable. This is what I know in my bones. It's clear to me, you're here with me. God, you are undeniable. Now I'm a little bit older and I shoulder the weight of these doubts. All of these questions keep pressing me to figure you out. But even on the bad days when my faith is wounded and weak, I fall to my knees and pray for a mustard seed of faith. Undeniable faith, give me hope. Undeniable hope, give me love, unconditional love that won't let me go. So, I believe it's something greater that I can't explain. All creation's pointing to your name. It's been 2,000 years and hearts still change. It's clear to me, you're here with me. God, you are undeniable, 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 indisputable, irrefutable. This is what I know in my bones. It's clear to me, you're here with me. God, you are undeniable. Give me hope. Give me love, unconditional love that won't let me go. Oh, I believe it's something greater that I can't explain. All creation's pointing to your name. It's been 2,000 years and hearts still change. It's clear to me, you're here with me. God, you are undeniable, 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 indisputable, irrefutable. This is what I know in my bones. It's clear to me, you're here with me. God, you are undeniable.
Our story today comes from the book of John, and we are going to be talking about a time when Peter, one of Jesus' disciples, had to practice humility by admitting he was wrong about something. So I know I don't like admitting when I'm wrong about things, and Peter was not super excited to admit that he was wrong too. But good news, just like we learned about forgiveness last month, Jesus forgave him so fast when he admitted that he was wrong, because Jesus will always forgive you. So let's learn about how Peter had to practice humility.
It's time for
The Story Before the Story.
Today, we're in John, the 4th book in the New Testament. But before John, in the very beginning, out of a deep, deep love, God made an amazing world.
But when people turned away from God, the world was broken. God made a plan to draw people back into relationship. So at the right time, God sent his very own son, Jesus, to come live among us.
When Jesus grew up, He traveled from town to town, teaching and healing.
But the religious leaders made plans to get rid of him. Jesus was crucified on a cross and died.
But early Sunday morning, Jesus returned to life. Lots of his friends saw him.
Which is where our story starts.
Take it away.
Hey everyone, I'm Chloe.
Hey, Chloe.
After Jesus defeated death, he appeared to Mary Magdalene and then to his closest friends, and lots of other followers too. We can only imagine how amazed and overjoyed they were, and how many questions they had, especially Peter.
I said 3 times I didn't know Jesus. Is he angry with me? Does he still want me to be his friend?
It was true. The night before Jesus was crucified, Peter had promised he would die before denying Jesus.
Where I am going, you can't follow now, but you will follow me later.
Lord, why can't I follow you now? I will give my life for you.
Will you really give your life for me? Before the rooster crows, you will say 3 times that you don't know me.
Within hours, Jesus was arrested. Many of Jesus' friends had fled, but Peter followed behind, trying to remain unnoticed. As Jesus was questioned by the high priest, Peter stayed outside, warming himself by a fire. A servant girl questioned him.
You aren't one of Jesus' disciples too, are you?
Peter was cold and scared, so he let fear take over.
I am not.
2 more times, Peter denied knowing Jesus. Then, a rooster crowed, just as Jesus had said, and Peter realized the terrible thing he had done. That had only been a short time before. Even though Jesus was now alive again, Peter wasn't sure what Jesus thought of him. So, Peter did what he often did when something was bothering him. He gathered a few friends and went fishing. All night long, they threw out their nets, but by early morning, they still hadn't caught a single fish. As they returned to shore, they saw a lone figure standing there.
Friends, don't you have any fish?
No.
Throw your net on the right side of the boat. There you will find some fish.
That makes 0 sense.
Even though it seemed ridiculous, Peter gave it a try. And within moments, the net was so full of fish, they couldn't even pull it onto the boat.
It's Jesus.
In his excitement, Peter forgot his worries and splashed as fast as he could toward Jesus. When he reached the shore, Peter found that Jesus had already cooked fish over a campfire.
Come and have breakfast.
Jesus offered the fish and some bread to Peter and his friends. The last time they had eaten together was the night Jesus died. But so much had happened since then. They may have been quiet as they ate, wondering how things would be different now. When they finished breakfast, Jesus called Peter aside. Maybe they took a walk on the beach. I bet Peter's heart was pounding fast.
This is it.
Peter, do you love me more than these others do?
This was not what Peter expected. He took a deep breath and answered.
Yes, Lord. You know that I love you.
Feed my lambs.
Now, let's be clear. There were no sheep on the beach. Jesus didn't mean for Peter to take some lambs out into a field of green grass. But many times, Peter had heard Jesus call himself the Good Shepherd, while the people around him were like sheep.
Jesus wants me to take care of the people who follow him.
Again, Jesus asked,
Peter, do you love me?
Yes, Lord. You know that I love you.
Take care of my sheep.
Peter was getting anxious again. Why had Jesus asked a second time? Didn't Jesus believe him? A third time, Jesus asked,
Peter, do you love me?
Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you.
Feed my sheep.
Peter was frustrated that Jesus kept repeating this until he realized.
Jesus has asked me 3 times if I love him. Maybe that's once for every time I said I didn't know him.
Jesus had not only forgiven Peter, Jesus was inviting Peter to care for all the people who would follow Jesus now and in the years to come.
Following Jesus wouldn't be easy, but it would be worth it. Every step of the way. The end.
Wow, so Peter really messed up, but Jesus still loved him.
Yeah, Jesus didn't leave him hanging.
Exactly. Peter was the one who denied Jesus, but Jesus took time to make it right between them.
So, what's our part in the story?
Well, if someone wrongs you, it's super easy to stay mad. But even if you feel like you have a right to stay mad, humility means choosing to forgive and make things right.
Maybe your friend didn't call and invite you to their house on Saturday like they said they would. Instead of being mad and refusing to talk to them until they talk to you first, you can go to your friend.
You can tell your friend you were hurt, but still care about them and want to hang out.
Or your big sister promised to give you a ride to school, but she left early, and you had to wait for the bus in the rain.
Instead of giving your sister the cold shoulder, go to her. Tell her that it wasn't okay, but you still love her.
And if you are the one who hurt someone else, it's just as important to make things right with them.
This is not easy stuff.
But it's super important.
You're absolutely right. See you next time.
Bye, Chloe.
Even Peter, one of Jesus' disciples who hung out with Jesus all the time, still did something that he wasn't supposed to do. But the good news is Peter practiced humility and he admitted that what he did was wrong. He did something to try to make it right. And of course, Jesus forgave him. That part wasn't really a question though. We know that Jesus would forgive him. But Peter showed us a great example of practicing humility because it's hard to admit when you're doing something wrong. I don't like it. It doesn't feel good when I have to admit that I'm doing something wrong, but sometimes I have to. And I know that God will forgive me if I did something wrong. I know that I can do something to help other people so that I can make the situation right. And you guys can do that too. Let's say you were mean to someone in class. That's not the right thing to do, but you can make it right by going to that person in class and apologizing, and then maybe sitting with them at lunch, playing with them on the playground at recess, something like that. So that, I think, is a good example of how we can make things right, just like Peter did. Now, it's the last week of the month, so we have our memory verse for the month, which was Philippians 2:3. And this is the last week for this memory verse, and here is what it says. Don't do anything only to get ahead. Don't do it because you are proud. Instead, be humble. Value others more than yourselves. So that was our last week on humility, and I'm super excited to share some new lessons with you next month. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.